Hey guys, Gavin here, and I just wanted to hop on, kind of talk. It was a crazy weekend, as I'm sure most of you realized, and with all the violence and the protesting in Charlottesville, and of course there's all these narratives, right? All these narratives, all these media organizations, they're trying to all spin their narrative their way, right? So the right is saying, oh, this is the libtards' fault, they did this. And the left is saying, oh, this is the neo-Nazis' fault. Well, there's truth in all of these things. Let's get to the root of it, though. Who's really controlling you? Then you have another faction, right? Other faction is like saying, well, it's all conspiracy and it was faked. The video's fake of the person getting run over, or the government set this up. Now, first of all, one thing I want to stop on for a moment. It's always possible that the government set up violence, but don't make everything a conspiracy in the sense that it didn't happen. Hey guys, I see you in there, glad to see you, spread the word, like, comment, share, whatever. The government could have set up violence because they do this all the time. But that doesn't change the message. It doesn't change what's really happening. Because what's happening here, guys, is the government wants you to be not at peace with your neighbor. They want us divided. And here's the problem. Here's the problem. We've got people going down, right, and protesting flags and monuments and fighting and even killing over this. Do you think that this isn't intentional, guys? Do you really think this isn't intentional? All right? Legislatures pass a law. They're like, oh, to stop racism, we're going to take down the Confederate flag. And so now everybody's fighting, you know, black against white, against Mexican, against left, against right. They got exactly what they wanted. It is intentional. And so we all come out looking like children on the schoolyard fighting over the color of our overalls. Listen, slavery's not okay. The North did things that weren't okay. The South did things that weren't okay. We shouldn't try and erase history. We shouldn't try and change history. We should be honest about history. But most of all, we should stop fighting. The fighting with each other is what's destroying us. Because as the puppet masters pull the strings, we're all fighting with each other. The black and the white and the patriot, we should be rallying together against those who 100% of the time violate our rights. The politicians through their blue line Gestapo. And so what do we have? We have these fake patriot loyalist 3%, and they're going down there saying, we're going to support the police, and we're not going to let anybody do anything bad, and we're going to go down there and police everyone, and we're with the law enforcement. Well, if you go down to a protest and you're supporting the terrorists who are creating this mess, if you support the treason coming from the president to the attorney general to your local officials to every single one of your blue line syndicate houses, you're not a 3%er. If you're going out saying we're with the law enforcement, we're with this. Now, it doesn't mean you're for violence. So we had these loyalist 3% groups, right? So you had these far out there, like, white supremacy kind of people, right? There's some of those, but probably most of the people there were not that way, right? Then you have the 3% cop-worshipping, government-worshipping loyalists that aren't actually 3%. These are the tough-talking, bravado, let's get our kid out and show off our guns and go America, go Second Amendment, and go police who are violating our Second Amendment. This is what you see in all these fake patriot groups on Facebook. But here's the other thing. And there is some truth. This is the second part. There's some truth in this narrative that the right patriot factions that aren't actually patriots, but they call themselves patriots, the blue line supporters, right? What's synonymous with what they do? They're always worshiping the police. They're always saying more regulations. Mexicans are destroying us. Muslims are destroying us, even as our government literally destroys us, okay? So they're like, oh, Islam is terrorizing us and they're going to destroy us all, while the police are literally killing 2 and 3 a day, right? But they won't oppose them. These same people, and I've seen this for years, the Trump the hardcore Trump-worshipping, Go America, bravado, nationalist patriot. And that's the key, is the nationalist, loyalist, blue line supporters that aren't actually patriots. And I've seen it on these groups, and I've called them out on it for over a year now. They have been promoting the idea of running over protesters. If you block the road, you deserve to get run over. They've been promoting the idea of violence against those they hate. That's a fact. And so the fact is, the people that fall into this category, the people that are the blue line supporting, Go America, we're better than everybody else, Trump's making it great, the fact is, they are nationalists. And there is no difference between a nationalist and a white nationalist, guys, in spirit. The white nationalist says, I'm better because of my race. The American nationalist says, I'm better because of where I was born. I'm better because I'm American. I'm above a Mexican because I live in America. And that's rubbish. That's no different than the racism. It's exactly the fascist Nazism that people are speaking about. And so the fact is, the accusations that a lot of the so-called right patriots are racist, supremacist, nationalists in one way or another is true, simply by the facts. But I want to qualify that for those out there that are seeing this that might be on the other side and they think that patriots are out to get them. These people are not really 3%. They're not patriots. And let's come to the final then. There's a litmus test, okay? If you're out there promoting one person being hurt, and you have rights, but they should be shot at the border. You have rights, but they should be locked away. You have rights, but they should be run over. The person talking like that, they are a fascist. They are a nationalist. The person out there waving the blue line flag, and they're saying on the one hand, well, protesters should be run over if they get in my way, and I support the police, and I oppose anybody who preaches against them. Same thing. So the fact is, the so-called patriot movement is inundated with people who are actually racist slash nationalist slash fascist, or maybe all of the above, okay? Now, it doesn't mean it's all about skin color, and it's not about skin color. We don't even want to make it about that. Anybody who thinks that their rights are above another, that they're greater because they're American, or because they're British, or because they're Mexican, or because they're Venezuelan, I don't know. And speaking of Venezuela, while our own president is trying to start wars across the world and saying, oh, like Venezuela, they got bad stuff. Virginia looked like Venezuela this weekend. And why? It's threefold. Because we don't love our neighbor, because both factions, it's not just a patriot or a left-right paradigm, because both sides of the beliefs, right, are falling for this idea that each other are what they need to fight against, instead of looking up and seeing the tyrants who have destroyed our rights, who have shredded our Constitution and shredded our flag and locked people away in prisons with no due process, from the Bundys to the black to the white to the Jeff Winehouses to the Schaefer Cox to the Native Americans. It's constant. The people that support the enforcers of tyranny, the people who support destroying people across the world, America, the United States of America, and its enforcers terrorize people at home and across the world. And if you support that, you are a nationalist. If you're running around thinking you're better because of where you live and the dirt you stand on, you're a nationalist. You are the Nazis. You are the fascists. And it's time to change your heart, because you're not of any more value than anyone else. And I've heard this for so long from people claiming they're patriots. America's greater. America's the greatest. America first. Guys, the greatest nation is determined not by who has the most power and might. The greatest nation is the one that loves God, loves their neighbor, if you will, the one that defends justice the most. That's the greatest nation. And if anything, America's in the running for the worst nation, because we abuse people across the world. Our blue line terrorists terrorize this entire nation. And our soldiers murder people, gas people, and kill innocent women and children across the planet. Now, does that mean all our soldiers are bad? No, I have lots of veteran friends. But the real veteran is the veteran of liberty. And I don't care whether you were in the service or whether you're like Lavoie and you just stood up and you died for your country, or whether you're like Ammon or Ryan and you defended the Constitution. The true veteran that gets honor is the veteran of liberty. It's not about your faction. But one thing is certain. If you've become the enforcer of injustice, if you back the enforcers of injustice, if you wave the banner of the enforcers of injustice and say, well, they're the good guys, I'm going to support them even if they do bad things. If you say you're better because of where you are, who you are, or what you are, instead of affirming that all men are created equal and you will defend those rights for all men no matter where they're from, or the label they wear, or the clothes they wear, or the banner they fly. It's time to get real about who the real patriots are. Let's stop pretending that these treason-supporting, blue-line, flag-waving, I'm better because I'm American, I'm 3%, redneck, look at my cool gun, patriots are actually patriots, or 3%. The 3% oppose tyranny. The 3% oppose the redcoats, or today, the bluecoats. The patriot of the principles that this nation was founded on stands up. So stop getting distracted because somebody has some pride in their black heritage or their rebel heritage or their white heritage. Stop making it about your factions and fighting over those things. That's exactly what they want. Look up. Look up to justice. Look up and be humble in the sight of the creator of liberty. Maybe you don't believe like I do. Maybe you don't believe in God, but at least love your neighbor as yourself and do to others as you want to be done to you. And stop pretending that tyrants are heroes. Stand up. Get a few people together. Make a tree. Make a trio and stand and resist with principle and peace. You guys have a good night. Be well. Thanks for being in here. Spread the word. Love your neighbor.